Fox 13 News is brought to you by Kaufman, Englett, and Lind.
He's there. He's here. Earlier this morning, we explored one of the pitfalls of purchasing a foreclosed property. Now, here's something else to consider. What to do if you're the new owner of a foreclosed property and the old owner comes back to reclaim what was once his or hers. Attorney Matt Englett joins us with much more on this messy subject. Hey, good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
This was a story in the St. Pete Times yesterday. A man is trying to undo his foreclosure. Basically, what he says is he never knew about it, about the foreclosure, until it was all over with. I'm hoping this is an extreme case for a lot of people, and it appears a lot went wrong. But he wants the house back.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to get the house back. I do think he has a legitimate issue here. I think we're going to see more cases like this. I think the new buyers of the home, the new owners of the home, are protected. What we have is we call it a bona fide purchaser, and it is just a real basic foundation principle in property law, and that is, if you purchase a home and there's nothing on public record to put you on notice that there may be a claim regarding transferring the property to you, then you are protected as a bona fide purchaser. And that's what happened here. So I don't think this gentleman is going to get his house back, but I do think he may be successful in getting this put back to the trial court and then being able to go after the bank for money. So I do think he's going to get money out of the bank for damages. I don't think he's going to be able to actually go back and get his property back.
So what you're saying to me is, if you are thinking about buying a foreclosed home, because there are great deals out there on them right now and people are looking at them, don't let this story be the reason you don't buy that house.
Absolutely. I wouldn't let this prevent you or deter you from buying a foreclosed property. The purchasers, the new owners of these properties are fine, but I do think there was a lot of sloppy foreclosure practices as was done in this case, in many other cases, and I think we're going to see a group of people who had been foreclosed on coming forward and filing suits against banks for things like this.
Well, that leads me into the next thing I was going to talk to you about. What if you have been foreclosed on? What if you're one of the victims of these robo things that I've been talking about, and the claims and all that sort of thing? What's happening now? Do you expect this to be an issue now for these people who've been foreclosed on?
I think that there's going to be a whole cottage industry. You're going to start to see billboards and everything else up talking about, if you've been foreclosed on, you may have been foreclosed on wrongly, and you may have an action against the bank for that. So I do think we're going to see much more of these. But as far as people being able to go back and get their properties back, I don't think they're going to be able to do that by and large. There are exceptions to every rule, but for the most part, they're not going to be able to get their property back.
I'm going to go back and ask you about this case in particular. From what I've been able to read about this man from Pinellas County apparently did not know that any of this had happened. I mean, they had served the papers, but the wrong people got served on. I mean, it's a huge mess what happened to him. Is that a good enough defense in a case like that?
No, they could have avoided this. The bank and the bank's attorneys could have avoided this by, when they realized when they couldn't confirm that he lived at that address, they could have done what's called service by publication. It's an extra step you have to take. Had they done that, I don't think he would have a claim at all, because they would be able to say, well, you know, we couldn't confirm that you lived there, so we served you through publication, we did that correctly, and he wouldn't have a claim. But they didn't do that.
Hey, Matt, good to see you. As always, thanks for
having me.
Explaining complicated issues for us. It is 8:51 right now. We need to check in with Charlie.